James McCormick, CEO of Cloudastructure, Inc., Lauren O'Brien, Chief Revenue Officer of the same, ticker symbol CSAI. Lauren, I got to ask you a question in regards to Mary brought up AI, but not for the purposes of what we're talking about. With respect to AI, how are you guys using AI as a company to drive gross margin? Because I know you are, and I think you're one of the few that's actually got it figured out, because we're just on-ramping to AI. And I think we don't know what we don't know, but you guys somehow have figured out a way to kind of increase, at least it appears so, but from as a shareholder perspective, looking on the outside looking in. How are you guys doing that?
Well, I would have to say, James can jump in here too, but we have been doing this for a very long time. So I think we were ahead of a lot of people. And so AI has been in our technology stack from the very beginning. We were a bit before our time, even being in the cloud, but it allows us to optimize. So the traditional remote guarding, for example, a lot of people are still using video monitoring with people that are looking at 10 screens. We allow because we're using AI with the combination of humans in the loop, our remote guards can handle 70 to 100 screens at one time. That's how it drives gross margin. It's a lot more cost effective.
Is this the tip of the spear in your opinion, to where you got it figured out, but maybe there's going to be a different figure out, much like Internet 2.0 back when we used to see the Netscapes of the world and the MySpace of the world, right? Now we see Facebook, right?
It is a super exciting time, and we're just touching the tip of the iceberg and what we can do for our customers. And we probably can't share some of that right now, but it is huge potential.
Hey, James, in terms of type of customers, we keep on talking about this, but I can't help but think, military applications, academic applications, you start thinking of things like school shootings, you start thinking of things like suicidal ideation and all that stuff. I mean, I know you guys are not in that business, but man, with the technology you have, you can overlay this technology onto so many other problems that we have in society. Is there any thoughts about that?
Well, the thoughts are that's exactly what we're doing, right? And not to take away from Lauren, who could really do a great job of answering this question, but we have started and have a very, very good foothold in multifamily housing properties. We partner with 7 of the top 10 largest property management companies in the United States. And that traditionally has been where we started and where we see most of our revenue generated. However, we have signed or are signing contracts to support different verticals, including construction, transportation and logistics, and commercial properties, for instance. Why? Those are areas that have experienced loss or theft in the past or other safety concerns. So they understand the need for having some sort of a proactive service that they want to work with. Now, you mentioned military, you mentioned university and campus shootings, those sorts of things. What we would say is this, we could go on for a long time talking about the security on campuses, particularly universities. But I think what we would say is we're targeting right now verticals that we know are quicker to adoption and making decisions. The military, God love the government, but my goodness, it takes a long time for them to make decisions, and even longer if what you're doing is replacing some sort of entrenched solution. And to some extent, it's the same with universities. They have cameras, right?
Sure.
They have the call boxes in the parking lot.
And that's what I talk about template. I mean, you've got infrastructure there where you could overlay, and I don't mean to minimize what you're doing, but a template in terms of some of the IP that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. And with for instance, at universities, they have cameras. We can integrate with the existing cameras and then just add additional cameras and speakers or our remote guarding capability to give them something more than just a passive observation capability. That's what we would say.
Above and beyond that, how important it is to educate the community or the communities that you serve on Cloudastructure. Obviously, crime goes up, Cloudastructure comes in. Those areas, you're helping lower that crime rate.
Absolutely correct. Just a couple statistics, and then I'd like to turn it over to Lauren to talk about what we do from a webinar standpoint. But when we talk about remote guarding, we love emphasizing this point. We process more than 8 million videos a day.
Oh my God.
Okay. A percentage of those go to the remote guards. And of that, and we go back to our, the conversation about delighting the customers, 94% of the time, something that may or may not have been identified as a threatening activity is identified as normal, requires no action. So 6% of the time, there's some sort of intervention needed, lockdowns, escalation to police, security, whatever the case might be. And then, what we showed in that video, right? We can address or deter break-ins, intervening with trespassing, loitering, unhoused people, those sorts of things. So it's a real differentiator for us and something we're incredibly proud of what we've developed and what we deliver. Now, that being said, and Mike, I think this might have been what you were leading to. We also have a outreach mechanism to customers, potential customers, interested parties, and those are in the form of what we put on called webinars. And Lauren, do you want to explain what we do there?
Yeah. So this is our marketing team. They're the ones that put together that, our nice videos and such. But we hold webinars once or twice a month, specifically geared towards educating and informing our customers on the issues that are top of mind for them. So, for example, liability fears are on the rise at our multifamily properties. And there's $1 million lawsuits. So we've partnered with lawyers and security experts, and we hold webinars on slip and falls, right? What do you need to do to make sure that you don't get a lawsuit that might not be an appropriate lawsuit? Because there's certainly a lot of people who plagiarize that kind of thing. There's pool liability, right? We have a lot of pools that we monitor for remote guarding, and we soon learned that the liability is one of the biggest issues is at the pool. So we'll have a webinar on that. Pet liability. Believe it or not, there's big pet issues with respect to, them going into areas where they shouldn't be, and also just, not picking up after their pets.
What's interesting there is you're talking about lawsuits, you're talking about those types of things. It'd be interesting for a plugin to be, because it's not about who's right or wrong oftentimes in a lawsuit. It's about the cost of defense. With your technology, you start recognizing a tenant from the old Oakwoods over here, and then 2 years later in the new one, say the same person has done this at other properties that we've monitored. I mean, honestly, it's really interesting on just how much you could expand what you guys have there. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe we hire you for product development.
You know what? Listen. I think we all know what you want to hire me for. I think the staff bartender might be the best part. For me.
There you go.
James McCormick is the CEO of Cloudastructure, Inc., their ticker symbol CSAI, and Lauren O'Brien, their Chief Revenue Officer.
Before I let you out of here real quick, I'll ask Lauren this because I asked James this a few interviews back. But what are you looking most forward to for 2026 for your company? In so much as you could share with us that's not non-public information. What do you think?
I think our CFO was explaining to you that we're on this hockey stick of growth.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to that. I believe it's going to be explosive, and I am excited to be along for the ride.
James, Lauren.
LOB, you're in.
Yeah.
McCormick, you're out.
Lauren, stay away from Amityville this Christmas vacation. I don't want anything bad to happen to you.
Jaws 4 coming out.
Cloudastructure, Inc., CSAI is...
We're done, I think, aren't we?
We are done. Everyone, thank you so much for being along for the ride. We will see you next time.